Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today I get to share with you this book called A Little Emotional by Christopher Eliopoulos. There are a lot of emotions inside of each of us. Sometimes they are happy emotions, sometimes they are sad emotions, and there's a lot of variety there. But for one little boy, there's always a feeling of joy when he's playing with his very special toy. And as he goes through his day, he is always very careful to put his special toy back on the shelf when he goes to sleep. But one morning, he finds that that toy is missing, and when he finally does discover it, he determines that it is broken, and his anger comes out. And when his anger comes out, it gets a little bit pointy and a little bit big. And as he feels all of these emotions, it affects other people around him. So ultimately, when he learns the truth of what happened to his special toy, more emotions come in. And it's through all of this wave of emotions that the little boy determines exactly what is important when things get a little bit out of hand and how to find that joy once again. This story is really great for preschool readers because it talks about emotions so tangibly. So if you're familiar with Inside Out, you'll recognize some of the ideas behind this book, even if the characters are a little bit different. So in each frame, you'll see the protagonist who is followed by a particular emotion or the end of that emotion as they go through. So each emotion is definitely a little bit larger than life, but they echo the feelings of that protagonist as you're going through the book. And readers are going to recognize those emotions in themselves. Sometimes personifying those feelings helps them become a little bit more accessible to young people. So this book does a really great job of that. You definitely have two stories kind of going on in here. You have the story that's happening inside of the main character's mind, and then also the interactions that he's having with his family members outside of that. So the book, like I said, is for a preschool aged audience primarily because of those emotional components. And there's also a blend of narrative and word bubbles, so you have some dynamic visuals to go along with the story too. And as you're reading it, even if you're not necessarily a part of a family with a sibling, you'll recognize some of the feelings that come with those emotions, even with friendships and things like that. So you have some universality to the story, despite the fact that it is just happening in a home. But because the emotions are so universal, everyone will find something in here that will resonate with them. And as you read the story, you find opportunities for growth in your personal life as well. So if this book sounds like a great fit for you or for someone you know, I hope you look for it wherever you get your books.